What's good, YouTube? And welcome to, I think, the first time I've done a fresh trim right before a market watch. Let's go ahead and talk about the many changes with Legacy of Destruction because it's going all over the place. I called it changing up through the opening week, and that's been happening with modern sets. That's no rocket science when it comes to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Market, but it went in more directions than even I thought it would go, with some cards being like, what are you doing? And other cards make sense. I get to pat myself on the back on some easy calls, and then others, a little bit of a curveball. Nightmare Throne has gone past what I thought it would go. It is at 250 listed lowest right now for the quarter century secret rare. This one is kind of wild, but I do understand people really like it, and there's no sales over 200 yet, but the 180s sold out, so it'll be one to watch throughout the opening week. Varudis continues to go lower. Actually, Lightsworn Dragonling, by staying about the same price, has stayed all the way up to second place, while Varudis falls into third, and Nightmare Apprentice is starting to catch up as its secret rare also is going up in price. Now to the lower end of the set, under the quarter century secret rares for the most part, we have Nightmare Throne going for 40. Somebody just listed 12 at 30 apiece, and they sold out like that. Like in the time that I showered, came back here, basic hygiene Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, and it just absolutely, those copies went, and there go the $40 copies continuing into this too. Ultra rare atop the set. It's usually not the best sign for the health of a set, yet we have some anomalies such as how big the Tempai Dragon's gotten as well. Nightmare Apprentice also creeping back up towards $30 here, but 25 freaking dollars for Tempai Dragon Pydra. I would have thought it would cap around 20. No, people are eating this up, and what makes this so much better than even Bystial Magnum? Oh my gosh. This is opening week. This is wild. This is actually modern Yu-Gi-Oh! History in terms of pricing. And I gotta say, like, super rares, they can get expensive through history, like people were bringing up Luster Pendulum, but that took a while to get to its $50 price point, and also ratios were worse than, we're still looking at around 8 per case, that's 12 box case of these if you're chasing after it, and the estimated value pulled all around just isn't that great. So when you're averaging under 1 per box, of course, for this, like, yeah, people are going to want it to end up playing one of the top decks that were made accessible and cheap and are unlikely to get hit for the WCQ season, because I don't think we have another ban list on the horizon for that, or at least that has been really predicted. It would have to be kind of a quick hit, but I have heard people say, I feel like the super heavy samurai treatment's coming for this, and they're going to end up taking it out because they made it cheap and easy. We'll have to wait and see, but it's not cheap for this super rare. It's even ahead of Diabolese at this point. We do see, which was the easier calls, the Ragna Raika stuff ending up going up a good amount. Their graphs are pretty funny to watch. Way back up here in price, $18, and then the spell also up towards $15. The Yugi token is doing its thing, sticking around $20 as well. By far the most wanted thing out of the retail, besides, you know, the actual cards, out of the tokens, I should say. And then Varudas still sticking around the same $17 to $18 mark. The Yugi cards have gone back up a little bit, like they were a bit cheaper actually selling for $5. Now it's like $6, $7 for the Silent Magician Zero. So they are getting that fan attention that I did think would help elevate this set over a long period of time, but it's happening rather immediately. And the ultra rare Lightsworn Dragonling also really sticking there as people want to play Lightsworn Chaos Pile, and yeah, there's other cards going in the market for that. So be aware, just so many changes for this set. It's been a wild ride for sure. First movement solo is absolutely ridiculous. $30 for this. If you see it in bulk, obviously pull it out. I would probably be selling at this price immediately. I might even go diving through like the spell boxes for it. It shouldn't really be up here. I get it hasn't had a printing in a long time, but oh man, this is wild to me. Extra Net is a interesting field spell that people are talking about. Excuse me, Texas allergies. If a monster is special summoned from the extra deck, the opponent of the player that conducted the special summon can apply this effect, draw one card. So even optional if you wanted to stop drawing. But basically you play this, they've got to out it, and you keep drawing. People are talking about this for Tenpai, but also for other decks. Like, you've got to take care of it along the way, even though it doesn't stop them from playing. It is interesting on paper, and an execution for this format to deviate to take care of it and not hit, say, a floodgate or something else, depending on what deck you're facing. I get why people are going for this, especially when they are going first, but I prefer cards that actually stop completely the gameplay, but I do get why it's taking off. Starliege Seyfert is going up for its holographics. Again, Lightsworn and Chaos Pile seems to be the indicator for this one. It's very nice that we did end up getting a common out of a structure deck eventually, because they skipped over one printing of that. But yeah, be aware, the holographics, they're starting to spike up in price for that reason. Also, Bystials have multiple movements. Look at Bystial Druid Swarm. It has been consistently going up over time, but now it's really taking off, and it's around $17 to $18 for the secret, and the super rare is up there towards $12, $13, and the Bystial Saronir is up for both the super and secret. The secret is headed towards $7+. There's only a couple at the 6 and under mark, and shipping included on some of those, while most say you gotta add a little bit for that shipping. TCG Player has definitely had some upped prices happening in that range as well lately. Signs of the time, I suppose. Photon Hypernova has a couple cards here at the top going up even further. We've covered so many different branded cards going up in price. Well, also we see here that Grand Guignol and Mirror Jade have both gone up a bit more for their quarter-century secret rares. And then also Triple Tactic Thrust has been on its buyout era. Look at... short prints and side sets really get to me. But, like, this one especially gets to me. It should not be a $50 Ultra. It just shouldn't. Bonfire is going back up a bit, though, for the Collector Rare, while the Ultra has still continued to simmer. Look at this. It's actually up towards 148 to 150 as people want to max out the deck they're deciding to commit to for the WCQ. However, the I just want any version of Bonfire card is still towards its lower prices, but starting to go up a little bit as well. You can find them from unrated sellers here around 53, 56, but it quickly goes up towards 60. So while you can get them under market price, there's not the most of those under market price, and a lot are selling around 60, which is still cheap-ish, but you can see there's definitely been some listed that were cheaper. Buster Whelp of the Destruction Swordsman is going up. Apparently, Buster Blader did a little something, I'm being told in the Discord at the Greek Open. So this card is going up even further as it gets that attention towards $5 for the Bosch Super Rare. So yeah, be aware, Buster Blader decks, they're trying to do their thing. At least Buster Dragon got its reprint finally, and that is super cheap for a long time. Now I've gotten to the cards, John. Let's talk about some figures coming out. The first for figures, Atem has actually dropped onto pre-sale. This is one I'm actually going to skip on, I think, unless they do some updates. The reason is this is PVC, which is, you know, more brittle but higher detail. But for that higher detail, they really haven't done any shading on the early work. So if they do some shading, I'll look forward to it. But it just looks so wrong to me not to be shaded in. I love the diorama, though. And if they do update some detailing on this, which First for Figures can be good about sometimes, I might be in for it later. And also, Exodia dropped by Pop-Up Parade, surprisingly. Not really announced or anything. And it's one of their larger figures, which is why it goes for a little bit more, around $91. I think it looks great. Wish it had a different base, but it is what it is. It's a great figure of Exodia for a great price. I think Big Bad Toy Store has it for like $115 and then $4 shipping. Or you can try to, you know, combine it in a package. International shipping options will charge later on Ami. And be aware, the yen price can also change, although that's been mostly downward motion for the yen lately. That can always go in the other direction. So this is approximately this, and if the yen changes, that price can change if you order through Ami. But that's typically where I like to order my figures when I'm buying, because I combine packages with other things, and then, you know, the shipping cost is marginally up instead of paying 25, 30 for the one figure. It'll end up being like 10 since I'm getting other things. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the conversation. And yeah, it's been a wild ride with the new set, and it's honestly fun to watch, but it's not always fun to watch stuff start low and then go high number, but it is fun to watch the deals that were there at the opening, really.